Everyone, hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, the stream was late because I don't know why, but my OBS or my configuration of OBS to YouTube thought that I was scheduled to do a Friday Fortnite stream. So for some reason the wrong stream was connected. I don't even play Fortnite, so that's that. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, I mean I haven't made my moves this week. I'm gonna make my moves over the course of the stream. We will just be waiting for Liverpool news, things like that. Someone wants to make the move of Jackson to Gakpo. I think it makes sense to go Jackson to Gakpo now. Like in my position, because I can't go Wood to Gakpo with one free transfer. That's kind of why I don't, or I haven't fancied Gakpo as much as other people have. Wood is second bench because he's. I mean, when I make my transfers, Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be second bench for me. Marmouche captain. I mean, I'd love to see him start, to be honest. We never know. I guess Savio could get benched and we could see Marmouche start. Hello, Fizzy Kiwi. Someone's going for Watkins. I think that makes sense as a move too. Once again, I guess if you're in that kind of position where you got someone like a Jackson and you have the excess money, that's fair enough. Because the fixtures are just that good for Aston Villa over the next three. But they also have Champions League, right? So who knows if Duran's going to get minutes today. I'm probably a bit more cold on Watkins. Wish Captain respecting the Gandhi's theory. Get fancy and Captain Isak or play the safe road. I don't think this is really a week to get too fancy. I mean, it is Ipswich at home. You can't really have a better game than that in the league. Southampton at home is probably better, but hey, yeah. I've not thought about changing my captaincy around, if that helps your dilemma. Start Semenyo or JP. Someone has no questions to ask. I mean, just ask questions. Anyways, right? Start Semenyo or JP. I do think this is a week to start JP. Probably put it down to Nottingham Forest being a better defense anyways. And then you have the penalty taker within your team, right? So that's probably what I would do. Do you reckon Konate will start the next three? I think in the Premier League, Konate should be starting all three games. I've already used my triple captain, Zlatan. I used it on Haaland Gaming 2. Someone's gonna slot chip. I mean, I'm not gonna slot chip because I'm gonna triple up on Liverpool. I think the main issue with going with an AM24 is we don't know whether double gaming 25 is gonna happen up until after AM 24 is used. So I guess unless you're taking a massive bet on double gaming 25 and you generally just really like slot slash Moyes, then yeah, I guess that could kind of come into your considerations, but I'm not really into the idea, if I'm being honest. Start Munoz or Castagna? I'd probably start Munoz. Arsenal double defense or Ahmad slash Semenyo. I'd play Semenyo over Ahmad, but I don't know if. So I guess the second Arsenal defender could be benched for Semenyo, is basically my point. Seems everyone's hung up on Wood. I mean, Wood is going to be sold over the course of the stream. That's just a fake FPL Harry, isn't it? So I'm just going to probably, I mean, I'll just put user, I mean, would you start Sar or Rogers? I'd probably still start Rogers. Start Wood or Ahmad? I think it's quite easily Wood. I mean, if let's say I wasn't going to sell Wood this week, he would be first on my bench. I'll say that. But I'm just waiting for any sort of Liverpool news that might come out over the course of the stream. Why not wait until the end of the deadline to actually make a move? You know what I mean? Start Ahmad or Wood. Once again, I would just go Wood. Who will give Liverpool news? I mean, Brian Klopp, I think, has given some news so far. So there's that. Other than that, there's just a few kind of big Liverpool accounts that have 15, 20, 25,000 followers that actually have a lot of news, generally speaking. No, I'm actually just reading leaks and or news on the timeline because I haven't really had the time to look at it today. Just gotten home. Yeah, I can't really see too much in terms of news. I think the one rumor is that Darwin could start over Luis Diaz, right? Um, that's interesting for sure. There's also a rumor that Isak is sick, but I don't think I care about that kind of rumor. Do you think a Salah triple captain is wise? No, not really. I mean, I'd still probably use it on the double at the end of the day. Is Gakpo starting? I think Gakpo should be starting. Saliba out. Is Timber a stupid move? I mean, the main thing is the next Arsenal fixture on 24 isn't great, so probably I wouldn't go straight to Timber. But Timber's a very solid pick, generally speaking. So I mean, I'd probably rather go for a Liverpool third defender from Saliba than a Timber move. But if you're already tripled up on Liverpool, then I mean, you don't really need to make a move for that sort of player. So in that case, I mean, Kirkus is quite interesting if you want to start saving up some money. But yeah, if you want to go Timber and you think you've got a strong enough team for GW24, then fine, go for it. Bench Palmer and Bumo. I'd bench Mbumo. I mean, arguably Crystal Palace is probably a better defense than City right now. Should I go Bruno to Mbumo? I think that's actually a very solid move. I've thought about maybe even just making that move next week myself. So if you want to make it now, for whatever reason, I think it's a decent move. I wouldn't say it's an upgrade, right? Because both of them are away to some pretty competent defenses. So it's not like it's an amazing game week for either player. But if you want to make the move and you fancy it, go for it. Is bench boost worth playing for GW24? I mean, I don't think so because Arsenal have a pretty mediocre game and we have a lot of Arsenal players that I don't really mind benching. At least like from a defensive point of view, right? I'm still playing Gabriel. My team's gonna look weak anyways because Munoz has a bad game. I think Castagna has a bad game. Like I can just flick through my team right now and just look at the fixtures. Yeah, like Man United away it's okay. It's not great. Newcastle away is just bad. And then I mean Wood's not even gonna be a part of my team, but he's actually got a good game, right? But he's gonna be sold. If I know Konate will start, will I buy him? No, I mean I know Konate will start, and I'm not gonna buy him. Monks, thank you so much for the super chat. Bench and Boomer, Wood, JP, starting Munoz and Henderson. I mean, I would probably still play. I'd probably play JP and Mbumo if you're asking me to bench one player. But if you're starting Munoz over all three of them, I would bench Munoz for all three of those players, if that makes sense. if your inclination is to say, okay, I've got double Palace defense, I'm going to play double Palace defense, I therefore want to bench Mbumo, then fine. I think that's also a valid move if you want to do that. Start Robinson or Kirkus? I'd probably go Kirkus still. Would I rather have Bruno and Mbumo this week? Honestly, I'd rather have Mbumo, but it's really negligible for me. So, for example, if someone asked me like to play this or that, I would say it's close to a 50-50 decision. Nathan, when are you looking to use your system managership? Probably 31-36. I haven't really made a decision yet because my rough idea is I don't really want to commit to a wildcard 30/free at 29 strategy up until game week 28 when we get a lot more information about what kind of teams or what kind of moves we can make as managers. So I don't really have an opinion on exactly when I'm going to AM now because it's going to be predicated on information to come later. All I can say is I'm not considering AM 24, especially after I'm going to lock in probably an Allison move, which also answers your question, Kearney. Robert TG6 says, would you consider selling Bruno if United get another bad performance this week? It's a good question. They have 3 or 4 bad fixtures in a row, right? Yeah, they've got Fulham, Crystal Palace, Spurs. These are bad games. Even Everton away is arguably mediocre. But after that, the run is not too bad heading towards wildcard 30. Like, for example, Ipswich at home, Leicester away. These are nice games that I don't really want to miss out on. So it comes down to if I really want to just go for an Mbuma move. It might even be the case that I actually do like the reverse yo-yo, which is like I enjoy Odegaard for the next 4 games, then I move him back to Bruno if I suddenly go Bruno to Mbeumo. But that is also quite a niche move, I would say. So I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to do something like that. Would you start Sanchez or Fabianski? So what, Sanchez versus City, Fabianski versus Aston Villa away? I'd probably still start. I'd start Fabianski. I guess intuitively I'm thinking more save points there in that game, but it's close. It's not exactly a great game week for either, right? So you're just not going to enjoy that much. FPL Animate, your message got deleted, so I can't see what you wrote. Start Weiss or Sar? I think I'd start Sar. I'd personally back the home player in that situation. Would you consider, hey Fran, need to do Colwell out? Any defenders I recommend? I think Kirk is a solid transfer. But if you need to actually spend less than Colwell, then I think Howson is not too bad. Start Wood or Semenyo? I'd probably start Wood in that situation. On wildcard, which one of Watkins and Son would I recommend? I'd recommend Son, just because, who knows, you might luck into a double game week 25. Watkins, his minutes can still be a little bit poor, whereas Son, he's kind of forced to play. FPL Animate says, hey, which 2 will you start alongside Virgil van Dijk? Munoz, Dean, Kirkus, Castagna. I'd probably start Kirkus, and I'd probably start Munoz. The reason being, yeah, I mean, those are super attacking players. They're actually versus some pretty weak offenses. And then, I mean, Dean is kind of up there as well, but I'd say I'd still back Munoz. Castagna is probably the one that I'd put at the back of the bench. Like, I wouldn't even consider him for this week, just because he doesn't really have that much attacking threat, right? Apparently, Isak, ill, no Salah, vice captain, Rodgers or Son. I mean, Son's an easy vice captain if you're thinking about something like that. Why don't I consider playing the assistant managership for the double? Because I just don't think they're very good games for a slot. And at the same time, even within the Everton fixture, it's just hard to believe that Everton's actually going to get a result, I guess, versus Liverpool is the way that I'm thinking about that. NDI next week, I think, is a strong move, but when I go for DCL today, I'm not going to actually go for an NDI move, right? But a lot of people don't like DCL. A lot of people would rather go for NDI, and I think that's fine. Thank you, Craig. I really appreciate that. Nice to see you around as well. How do you know when players are going to change price? There's price change prediction websites, like Fantasy Football Hub has one. So does Live FPL and FPL Statistics. But you can see that they change prices at 1:30 a.m. A lot of the predictors will kind of predict whether people will drop in price or go up in price. And yeah. Hi from New York City. Hey, Seven. Hope you're doing well. Why bench Wood? He's going to get sold. He's going to get sold over the course of the stream. Start Wood and Bumo. I'd start on Bumo. Thoughts on Watkins? I do think Duran's going to get some more minutes, which is why I don't love him so much. Am I trying to be God and turn Wood into Gakpo? I'll be turning Wood into Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Van Heck or Hall to start. Brighton CS has a better projection. Yeah, but I mean, that's simply because Brighton's playing Everton, right? So if you've got Van Heck, I mean, I don't really mind playing Van Heck over Hall. The main thing with like why I don't think Palmer is even up for consideration for me is like the City defense is just realistically awful. So not even a question for me to like bench or even sell Palmer. I'm shocked that he dropped in price. I don't even know who's selling Palmer, but fair enough. Newcastle poster, no Isak. I mean, does that mean he has to start every time though? I mean, I guess it could change my decision a little bit. Who knows? I mean, one of the moves that I could do, right, is Bruno to Son, right, and then go Wood to Calvert-Lewin as well. But that would be a bit of a crazy move. Like, I'd have to be 100% sure that there's a Gaming 25, a double Gaming 25. Luca, thank you so much for joining as a member. Welcome to Captain. Really appreciate that. Gakpo or Becker? I think it really just, it's a team dependent kind of question, because if you have someone like Jackson and Watkins and you want to downgrade, well, not Watkins necessarily, because obviously you're probably keeping him, but if you have someone like Jackson and it's an easy, simple one free transfer to Gakpo, then I'd probably consider going Gakpo. Whereas for me, it's 2 free transfers for both players, and I think I'm more likely to keep Allison the whole time. And on top of that too, when I go for someone like, let's say, Allison, I can kind of skirt the idea that he blanks on Game Week 29. Yala's question is Housen over an Everton defender like Mikolenko? Yeah, I would still say so, because you probably, I mean, it depends, right? Do you have another defender next week where you can use an Everton transfer on? If not, then I guess you can go for an Everton defender now, but then I assume that you were going to play Colwill or someone in that spot this week. If that's not the case, then just go for an Everton defender if you can just bench that player anyways. Which two out of Mateta, Rogers, or JP? I'd probably start, honestly, I'd probably start Mateta and Rogers in that situation. I've been asked Rogers and JP quite a fair bit. I think it's close to 50-50. Emotionally, I think I just like the fixture West Ham at home more so than, you know, JP. Heard news that Isak isn't playing. I don't know if that's true. I mean, there's a bit of a waffler, aka in the know account on Twitter. I don't really know that person has gotten things wrong many times. I can't say whether or not Isak's going to play though, right? Because he might be right this time. I have Pickford, so I bought Konate. I think that makes sense. Good morning, Oscar. Well, that's might as well time out because you're already in the wrong stream. Would you start Semenyo or Rogers? I'd start Semenyo. No, I'd start Rogers. Sorry, I'd start Rogers. I found from Spain, Sanchez to Allison or Jackson to Gakpo role. I quite like Jackson to Gakpo personally. You going Allison this week? Probably, yeah. That's the plan. Amarildo, thank you so much for the super chat. Raya, Arnold, Gabriel Guardiol, Martinelli, Salah, Palmer, Ahmad, Pedro, Saka, Gakpo, Bench, Robinson. I mean, I'd probably sell Guardiol, right? I just think that he doesn't hold much value now. You could probably just go Guardiol to Konate or Virgil. The rest of the team, I think, is fine. Like, Dibbling isn't... Oh, but actually, are you tripled up? You're tripled up on Liverpool, aren't you? Yeah, sorry. That's my bad. So you can't go Guardiol to Konate. I guess you could do a move like Guardiol to Kirkes, right? Which isn't awful. I just think that this isn't a great week for Guardiol anyways. So... The weird thing about defender moves this week is if I tell you to go an Everton defender, that's not really helpful for your team. So I have to just say that, I mean, the defenders that I quite like for this week, as it stands, are probably like a Kirkes, just for the fixture, right? And then he has a really bad 24, so that's kind of like a big conundrum. Brighton actually don't have a bad fixture, so that's interesting. Nottingham Forest don't really have a clean run of games, so hard to sort of recommend a player there. Pedro Porro is way too expensive in terms of like someone who's actually good for this game week. It could be an Arsenal defender. Like it could just be Guardiola to Timber. I don't think that's I don't think that's a crazy move. You could also go to a blank Game Week 29 team potentially, right? One of the teams that could be involved in that. Aston Villa actually have 3 good games in a row, so there's also the likes of Konsa. But I would probably sell Guardiola this week, save the cash to kind of make a future move, because do you still have Saka in your team? I mean, I'd probably just sell Saka actually. 2 free transfers. Surely you could do something like, can't you do something like maybe Saka to Son? And then you can maybe also just go Guardiola out. I think actually if you go Guardiola out, you can just play Robinson, right? If you go Guardiola to, let's say, an Everton defender, you can just save up a lot of money. This way, on Game Week 24, you can actually buy another good midfielder, right? So the kind of plan that I have for you is this. Probably to do something like Saka to Son now, to do Guardiola as well out into an Everton defender, bench that Everton defender, play Robinson, and then next week you go dibbling to Mbumo, and you have Tottenham at home with Mbumo. Start Konsa Robinson. I'd probably still start Konsa this week, just given that it's West Ham at home. Would you do João Pedro to Gakpo? I don't think I would personally, but I don't think that's a bad move. Fran, can you do a captain poll? Yeah, we could do a captain poll, but I'd be shocked to see the answers that we're going to get is going to be very different from what you'd expect, right? Surely it's the likes of Salah, etc. E7 says Rogers, Martinelli, JP, which two? I'd probably play Martinelli, Rogers. But I think emotionally the decision's probably between JP and Rogers. I'm not really expecting Martinelli bench, but there is a possibility of it, right? If Trossard starts on the left, which I think is very likely, then it becomes a question of actually, does Martinelli start on the right, or does Nwaneri actually have the fitness, I guess, to start? When am I selling Odegaard and Bruno? Probably not too soon. I think I might sell one of the two for Mbumo, but yeah. Bench one Ahmad Sarwisa. I'd probably bench Ahmad, to be honest. Why am I not starting Wood? I'm planning to sell Wood over the course of the stream. Harry says, you've got 4 free transfers. Would you do Jackson to Gakpo? I would do that, yes. I think that's fine. Use all free transfers. Nah, I would just do Jackson to Gakpo right now. Because Wisa and Mbumo don't really have a great fixture. Like, Crystal Palace away is still a pretty average game. If you actually look at some of the market predictions as well, like Brentford actually have some of the worst predictions this week, so it's not a great fixture. Trying to see if there's any leaks, which I can't really read. I can't see much, to be honest. Just that kind of rumor that Darwin might start over Luis Diaz, which I think is probable anyways, given that Darwin is a center forward and they're versus a team that I think is probably suited towards Darwin as well. I guess I might need to think about a situation of, do you think I should still make the moves that I'm making if I suddenly find out that Isak might not be available for this game week? I don't know. I don't think it changes too much, because the difference is basically either I have Wood first bench or I have Munoz first bench. And I don't think I'm super cold on the idea of having Munoz first bench over Wood, right? Like, just in theory. Why am I not starting Wood? Planning to sell him. Starting Rodgers over Wood. Yep, that's correct. What do you think? Start Flecken or Pickford? I'd probably start Flecken, to be honest. Yeah, the poll went exactly as I expected. Although, interestingly, I guess not too many people are so keen on the Isak captaincy as I thought. Please stop using emojis. I'm just not going to answer the question. Thoughts from Charlton? I think that right now he's still not at that level of fitness which you want, right? For example, like, even if you're going to bring him in this week, the reason why you want that, yeah, please stop spamming Hassan. You're just not going to get your question answered. But the reason why you might not want to go with Charlton now is that account isn't reliable. I mean, but you never know when Isak got sick, though. That's the point, right? The training point is kind of moot. But yeah, going back to the point, I'd say if you are thinking about going for Richarlison, one of the issues is I can't guarantee that he's going to play 90 minutes. Eugene, you don't need to have Bruno. I think having Eze is actually better than Bruno this week, so I wouldn't be worried whatsoever. Wood or Iwobi? I would probably play Wood. Gordon or Semenyo? I'd play Gordon for sure. Would you sell Foden or Madison? For Madison? No, I don't think I would. I am getting decel on Allison. I'm waiting for just potential news. Why stick with Fleck? Investing in two main goalkeepers seems unnecessary. No. Yeah, but Allison could blank and give me 29, and Fleck then is only 0.4 more than 4.0, right? So it's really not that much. My team value is pretty good. Would you hold Luis Diaz or just buy Mbumo? I'd probably buy Mbumo, but you might as well wait until we actually get a good leak that Luis Diaz is benched, right? But you already have I think there's already news on that. Feels wrong starting Rodgers over Martinelli. I agree. I think that is wrong. I think I'd start Martinelli over him. Please need help. Should I make these transfers? JP plus Foden to Mbumo plus Gakpo. I think those are strong moves. I like them. Fran, one question. Start one between JP, Robinson, or Aina. I'd start JP. Should I bench Simicast or Konsa? I mean, I'd bench... Simicast because I just don't think he's going to start. But I could be wrong. Best one to start, Ahmad or Jimenez? I'd probably start Raul. Did I miss your super chat? I'm so sorry about that, Vic. Must have been looking at some news at the time. Sorry, so you said we start Munoz to start. Yeah, it's an interesting question, right? Because you're just basically playing your attacker defender. I think I would probably just play Munoz, right? Because you can still put it down at the end of the day that he can benefit from the clean sheet and he can benefit from the attacking returns. Anyways, it's a home game for him, so just generally a better game. I'd play Munoz in that spot. Start Munoz or Wood? I'd still start Wood over Munoz. The reason why Wood is second on my bench is because I'm going to sell him, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be second on my bench. Start Aina or Castagna? I'd probably still start... I'd start Castagna. How risky is Luis Diaz? I mean, look, the rumor seems like he could be benched. Wood on fire, why sell him? I'm not a form man. I mean, I don't know. Like, did everyone not buy into Haaland when he was 1 on form, 2 having amazing fixtures, and that's why I probably owned him for wildcard 6? And did he still go on to blank? You can't really call when people go in and out of form. That's the main thing. So sure, someone's in form, but when do you know that that form stops? It's easier to kind of look at fixtures and say, I can trust that these fixtures will produce this result. And even if someone's on form, maybe they like most of the time you still produce better results when you're versus weaker teams, even if you're a form player, quote unquote. So yeah, I think the argument doesn't really stretch as far as someone's in form, you have to keep him, because then we're just playing a chasing game. Why sell Wood this week for a play? I mean, I'm not going to play him anyways, right? So it doesn't matter. And actually, I'd rather just get Allison over Flecken. Fran, would you do Foden to Mbeumo this week or wait till next week? Would you do Foden to I'd probably actually wait for next week, to be honest. It's an Mbeumo away fixture. So if you really want to sell Foden now and he is going to be your cash cow, then fine, sell him. But otherwise, you can probably actually hold on to Foden. You got screwed last week by Pep after bringing in Savio following 4 straight starts. Yeah, I mean, I think the issue with Savio now too is that Marmoush is in the team, and that's just even less depth, arguably. And Doku's actually, he's had some good performances as well. DCL or NDI? I'd still go DCL personally, just for the penalty aspect and things like that. Would you go with differential captains if you're about 3 mil rank? No, I think I'd still start going differential a little bit later in the season. You're backing Isak for captaincy, fair enough. But why would Salah get rest though? Yeah, I'm just not buying that. I mean, Salah arguably had a nice easy game versus Lille and didn't even get rest there too. And the Premier League's probably more important now than securing top 1 within the Champions League group stage, right? So yeah, I think Salah's going to play plenty of minutes, and there's no reason for me to kind of swerve that based on expecting Salah's minutes to be poor. But shout out Dilksy on Salah minutes. Espen says, bench Odegaard, Bruno, João Pedro, Rodgers. I'd probably bench Bruno. Bruno. Away fixture, probably the worst fixture out of all the players. And I think that's very significant. YouTube account, who do I start? Gordon, Bruno, Salah, Palmer, Isak, Wood, Gakpo, and Rodgers. I think, well, at the end of the day, you just bench one player, right? And that benched one, I would probably bench Wood in that situation. Is Wood to Wisa good? No, I don't think so. I think this isn't a great game for Wisa. So, great content as always, Fran. Bringing Allison in for Valdemarsson. I mean, for me, it's Valdemarsson, but for you, if you're bringing him for Raya, I think that could make sense. Because you don't really want to own 2 5.5 goalkeepers, right? That's a lot. Would you start Semenyo or Wood? I'd start Wood most cases. Am I going Allison this week? I am. Is now a good time to move Bruno to Mbeumo? I think this week is a week you can do it, but I'd rather do it next week personally, because I think the fixture for Bruno and Mbeumo is exactly the same. So why not just wait a week if you're not going to get any upside whatsoever? Like, at least in my case, I'm getting an Allison upgrade, right? Technically. Flecken to Allison, Chowdhury to Son. Frederick, I would do that move right now. Start Lush Diaz, replace him. I mean, I would probably replace him because it seems like he might be benched, but I can't be 100% sure on that, right? There's no confirmation on that in terms of like a trusted Liverpool source. There's just enough doubt for me to do something else. Bench Eze, Rodgers, João Pedro. Probably João Pedro for me. Bench Sarr, Semenyo. I'd probably bench Sarr in this case. It will feel better to get Sarr, and if he plays 90 minutes, you'll probably feel better about it. But I think Semenyo's minutes are a bit more nailed anyways. Wood to Gakpo, I think, is a strong move, especially if it's one free transfer. Like, I can't do Wood to Gakpo in one free transfer, hence why I probably haven't considered Gakpo as much as other players. And the way I see it, Gakpo is also a future sell potentially. FPL Wario, nice to see you around. Would you bench JP, Hull, or Gabriel? Pickford goalkeeper. Okay, so I guess the reason why JP's thrown into this is because you kind of just won a positive result for Pickford. I mean, I'd still play JP personally. and Gabriel. But I wish you the best of luck. I mean, I don't think there's, if you want to sort of maximize the outcome, I totally get it. If you want to go for Pickford and you're believing that kind of clean sheet, I just tend to think that's probably a match where I'm losing my clean sheet. So I'll just keep the strong attacker for this game week and play that person. From an EV point of view, it makes sense to me. Convince me not to triple captain Salah this week over next. I mean, if you don't like the 2 appearance points, the additional 2 appearance points buffer next week, then fine. Then that's that. I think this week is just simply a much better fixture, right? So, like, arguably, like, the cumulative chance of Salah scoring isn't too much more than what it would be this week. So the difference really is just appearance points plus, you know, small little things like ultimately playing what 180 minutes of football will do. I'm benching Wood simply because I'm selling Wood, and if I wasn't to sell Wood and I was to roll, if I was rolling, my team would look like this, literally. That would be the one change that I would make. But yeah, I'm selling Wood. Main reason is Bournemouth, I think, have shown to be a good, competent top-level offense and defense, more importantly, right? So when we talk about teams like, let's say, Palace, Fulham, etc., those are very tilted towards defense and attack, but Bournemouth have done something that's super impressive, I think, for a team that we wouldn't traditionally call a top 6, top 5 team. They've been arguably, you know, top in both facets of play. So that's really impressive. It's an away fixture, which I don't like, and I still, yeah, Chris Wood is a great player, absolutely, but he has a tough fixture run, and this is one of those tough games. I'm benching Wood versus Bournemouth. Why are we disrespecting Bournemouth suddenly? Selling Wood is illegal. Nah, we're selling Wood today. He leaves. Captain Isak? Not for me, but good luck to you if you're going to go for it. Am I considering a Mbeumo move this week? No, because I don't think he's an upgrade over Odegaard or Bruno this week. I think he's definitely an upgrade over both next week, though. Why sell Valdemarsson and not Flecken? Just for the game week 29 aspect of things. Gravenberg, what do you think of him? Only midfielder you can afford. I mean, I probably wouldn't go there. The only midfielder I'd really consider is Sobo because of the Jones injury. What do you mean I'm disrespecting Forest? That's not even how you spell Forest, but I mean, Forest have been a bottom half offense all season long, right? They scored like 33 goals. That puts them comfortably in that sort of mid-table range when it comes to goal scoring. So when you have an opportunity and it's a away game versus a pretty good defense, then I think the decision is quite clear. Onuachu Armstrong? I mean, if you have to go for one of those players, I really couldn't tell you. I mean, I have not actually been tracking the Southampton forward minutes because I just haven't been thinking about needing to make such a decision. But I'm sure Onuachu has played quite a fair bit, and obviously the Dibbling injury means that both of them will just get more minutes. I mean, I really don't think I'd be infused by either player, sadly. Yeah, I mean, Onuachu has not even been starting games recently, or he's been hooked extremely early in games. I'd probably go Armstrong if you really have to make that decision, but yeah. Am I selling Wood? I am, yeah. Who are you playing as defenders next week? I'll probably still play Gabriel. I could go McLink, obviously, because as you rightly point out, Gabriel doesn't look like a very good play next week, but it's a question of, you know, do I want to spend more transfers on Everton or just plan ahead, generally speaking, and kind of ignore Everton? So yeah, those are kind of conundrums that I have in my head. I still haven't really decided yet. My Game Week 24 move is probably going to be an Everton defender or just a classic kind of Odegaard / Bruno move into Mbeumo. Hassan says, no, it's alright about spamming. Kirkus / Robinson. I'd probably still play Kirkus personally. But I don't think there's really a wrong decision. Both are quite attacking players. I do think Robinson's obviously overperformed on assists, but if you look at kind of like the clean sheet odds for this week, it's pretty close for both teams. And then ultimately Nottingham Forest have also been a pretty weak offense, right? So your chance of getting a clean sheet, I think, is really similar. I would personally just play Kirkus because he's lower owned. And I think that becomes quite an interesting kind of decision to make. I remember looking at the market odds earlier, and I think it was bang on 28% for both. So it comes down to, do I want to play the higher owned player in Robinson, or do I want to play the lower owned player in Kirkus? I tend to, in these decisions, go for the lower owned player because I kind of think I'd like to have different outcomes to other people, but it's up to you, right? It's a risk preference kind of question. Pick 2 out of Ahmad, Elanga, Jimenez, or Robinson. I think it'd be Jimenez and probably still Ahmad for me. But I don't really mind you playing Jimenez and Robinson, right? Reason being, you can just kind of back a Fulham result and kind of hedge against that. Elanga, I don't think is great this week versus Bournemouth away. Anton Lofgren, good day, Fran. What do you think of Raya to Allison? Do I need to go now, or should I hold that move? It seems like Raya is close to a price fall, right? Am I wrong? So I think, yeah, I mean, even though there might not be like crazy gain from making that move, I don't really mind the idea of going out of Raya. Yeah, it seems like Raya's going to drop tonight. So you know what? Why not just go Allison? I think that's a strong, stable move. Joao Pedro or Kluivert? I'd probably play Kluivert this week. You already have triple Liverpool, so what should I do with Sanchez? I mean, if you don't want Sanchez anymore, I think one of the goalkeepers that's quite interesting, generally speaking, is probably going to be at that sort of price point. You could still just go for Henderson at the end of the day. Bumza says Munoz, Rodgers, JP, 2 to start, who to bench. I'd probably bench Munoz, but if you want to bench one of the other two, that's fine. I'd bench Munoz personally just because penalties on JP, which is nice, and then a really good Rodgers home attacking fixture. Like, you can't say no to that, really. Thoughts on starting Murphy over JP? I mean, that for me is more of a call on Murphy's minutes. If you're really confident Murphy's going to suddenly play a lot of minutes, then I think it's an easy play of Murphy. But I think he could also be like a 75-minute substitute, right? So JP kind of gives you a little bit more guarantees there. So I'd probably play JP myself. Track captain is the only right answer this week. Good luck, Rafa. I wish you the best of luck. I won't be doing it. I hope I'm not wrong, I guess. But best of luck to you. I admire the bravery there. If your only way to bring in Mbeumo was to sell Bruno, would you do it this week or back Bruno this week? I would probably just back Bruno because I just don't see that much gain on moving Bruno to Mbeumo. But yeah. Burn is a 4.4 defender. He's a solid pick, actually. Yeah, I mean, a Newcastle defender is looking quite solid now, but I wouldn't say that Burn feels absolutely nailed because you kind of have 3 pretty competent center backs now, right? Shar, Burn, Botman. Burn has been playing well, though. Which 2 out of Trent, Van Dijk, and Luis Diaz? Trent and Van Dijk. Should I sell Sarr and Mbeumo this game week? I would do that if you could do that move. Fran, one question. Start Aina, Robinson, Munoz. I'd start Munoz quite easily in that situation. Andre, thank you for your super chat. Bench 2, Munoz, Housen, Wisa, Ahmad, 2K rank. I mean, I would play... If you wanted me to play 2 of these players, I would just play Ahmad and Munoz in this situation. I don't know what your... Like, what do you think playing safe would be in this situation? Yeah, and I'm just not going to answer you spam in the chat, and I've answered your question as well already, so goodbye. Captain Gakpo or Haaland? Why does it have to be Gakpo or Haaland? Is it because this is no Salah territory? I mean, I'd probably captain Gakpo if you think he's going to get the full 90. Can't say I love the move, if I'm honest. What was your reasoning behind captaining? I mean, just a home game. Home game just makes a difference. Salah, I think, is just independently a better player anyways, in terms of, if you were, let's say, to project a player each week and you were looking at Salah and Isak, Salah being a midfielder, Isak being a forward, who would I expect to do better week on week on average over time? It'd be Salah. And then it comes down to fixtures then at that point, right? So I think Salah's just the inherently better player, has the home fixture, and is playing versus probably the slightly worse team, but at home, I think that tilts it to Salah anyways. Just because he's clear. Is Bournemouth the tough away fixture for Wood? I do think so. I mean, some people might disagree, but I think that generally is a tough fixture. I think that's a tough fixture for playing a Nottingham Forest defender. I think that's a tough fixture for playing Wood. I mean, if you look at the market projections for Nottingham Forest for this game week, it's not particularly pleasing, right? Start Guardiola or Castagna? I'd probably still go with Castagna, actually. Just because I really have no faith in that City defense, and I do think they'll concede, but that's just me. But who's to buy instead of Wood? I mean, that's the thing, right? If I go into DCL, the reason why I'm going to DCL is because suddenly this team is going to be just me playing consistently the other 7 players each week. Me going into DCL is not suddenly me saying that I'm going to play DCL consistently. It's just that I'll go DCL for the double. He'll be benched this week, and every other week he'll be benched. And eventually, if I really need money to kind of change my team around, I'll do that. But I've already got a strong core of 7 players that I can play, and I don't really need Wood right now, given that he doesn't have amazing fixtures. So if you want to hold Wood, I think that's totally fine. He's a very good pick, and that hasn't changed. It's just on these fixtures, I don't suddenly think that I need to be playing Wood consistently each week, and I'd rather have 7 players that I'm pretty happy with, I guess, going forwards. So for example, like, yeah, people are suggesting Wisa in the chat. That makes a lot of sense. I think if you want to go Wisa next week from Wood, that's actually a really good transfer. Thank you, Fran. I'll leave Wood on the bench. But Humongous, one of the things you might want to look at is that there's apparently a rumor that Diaz might not start today. So if Darwin starts, you're probably better off still playing Wood. Wood or Wisa? I'd probably play Wood this week if that was the decision. Wildcard? No, I would hold a wildcard later. Am I looking at Holt Miklenko? I actually am. Yeah, that's correct. But it could also be Tarkovsky. Who knows if we have uncertainty suddenly over the Everton team. Soon 1 year. Thank you so much, MPass87. Love the content. Bench 1 of Kluivert and Boomer Wood. I would bench Wood in this situation. But once again, that's because I also have a general risk preference to be comfortable benching someone who's extremely highly owned. Now, that might come back to, and you might think, hey, I might want to play the higher owned player in Wood, and I'd probably like to bench, I don't know, maybe someone like Kluivert, for example, since that he's in the kind of mirror matchup, right? So you're kind of, I guess, hoping for that Nottingham Forest result. I personally would bench Wood, because home game for Kluivert's nice, and then Mbumo is not too different from Wood, right? Super high quality finisher this season. Not crazy underlying stats. On penalties, plays 90 minutes a game, basically. What do you think about using the triple captain style this week? I think it's fine. If you really just think that this is the fixture to go for to target, and you don't care about the 2 appearance points next week, fine. But I guess the benefit of playing 180 minutes of football, or 160 probably, which is what Salih's going to do over the double, well, he's probably going to play more, right? He's probably still going to play close to 180 for those 2 games. And yeah, you always know that you can kind of maximize your outcomes in that sense. People are having troubles to bench 100%, but I'll have no issue selling Wood. So yeah, I'll enjoy it. Sar Wood, I'd probably play Sar still for the home game. Would you bench Rodgers or João Pedro? I would bench João Pedro intuitively if you asked me. I think it's a very close 50-50, so that's why I kind of like that I can avoid this decision. I am doing transfers, I'm just not doing them yet, because I was kind of waiting for any potential Liverpool news, if we were to get it. Because Liverpool's actually one of the traditional teams where we always used to get leaks for them, but it seems like they have clamped down on that quite a fair bit. So, I mean, credits to them for getting that managed, I guess. Gakpo seems like he could rise, or double rise. Kluivert's getting a ton of transfers as well. Wow, okay. I'm probably going to be priced out of Kluivert eventually, it seems like. Yeah. Wood is actually going to rise tonight. Interesting. Interesting. I can't believe Wood is actually rising, though. So that's 0.1 in terms of team value for me that I can gain. Does that matter? I'll need to have a think about that one, actually. Who knows? Aaron Sweetman says, hi, Fran, starting Boomer Wood this week. I'd probably play him Boomo, just for the reason that he's a midfielder, has kind of all the benefits that Wood has in terms of, like, if you want to make the arguments that he's in just been generally in a good hot run of form this season when it comes to finishing, on penalties, etc., all that kind of stuff. I think that's applicable to both, and so I'd rather just go with the midfield in that circumstance. It doesn't matter in terms of like any of the moves that I'm going to make, but you know, I do love a price farmer too. I'm actually surprised that there are that many Wood buys in the first place, I guess. Where's the direction of transfers coming from? So it seems like it's coming from Raul. But I also know that people are doing moves like Wood to Gakpo, right? So I'm kind of shocked that he's projected to rise. That doesn't seem to make too much sense to me, but I just could be stupid. I might be missing a trick. Yeah, I can't imagine Wood's really gonna rise. He'll probably rise tomorrow, although I guess just because of the steady rate of transfers. Either way, that Wood will rise if he blanks today. That's true. That's a fair point. What are our games today that I'll be watching? That's true. I could actually start crying immediately, kind of, as soon as Wood scores in that 3 p.m. game. So many good 3 p.m. games today. I could even enjoy my Allison clean sheet loss nice and early. That would be nice. Let's see. Let's see. How do you guys like the new the new UI as well on the client? Rumors are that Isak may be a doubt. Yeah, I don't really believe in that, but I mean, who knows? Just have a good first bench, I guess. Doubt Wood will Wood or Semenyo. I'd probably play Semenyo still. Pickford. Who'd I bench? Rogers, João Pedro. I mean, I'd probably bench João Pedro. Play Sar or Savinho. I'd play Sar. I can't even guarantee that Savinho starts, unfortunately. Start Ahmad or DCL. I'd probably still start Ahmad. I've got 4 defenders, including Konate, Sar of Palace. Can't even. Oh, that question's gone. Start Wood or Raul. I'd probably start Raul. Bruno Tembumo. If you want to make that move this week, then go for it. Two minutes. What do you mean by 2 minutes? The deadline's in like 33 minutes. It actually scared me, actually. Bro forgets to do his transfers. That's not going to happen. That's all right. Hi, Fran. Should I get Gakpo from Mateta? And one more question. Who would you start, Munoz or Robinson? I'd start Munoz, basically, just because much kind of better fixture swing there. Foden or Wood to start? I'd start Foden for sure. TC or assistant manager next week? I'd probably play TC. I'd play TC. Why are you guys scaring me into making a transfer? Non-FPL question. I'm 27. Start 2 from those. Rogers, Sar, Wood. Probably just play Rogers and Sar. First bench, Castagna or DCL. I'd play Castagna first bench. Start Wood. Nah, it's not going to happen. Anish says, thank you so much for the super chat as well. Dubravka, Trent, Timber, Milenkovic. Okay, interesting. You're benching Kirkes? I'd play Kirkes over Milenkovic, personally. I would like to put that out there. As far as Salah, Rogers, Gordon, Trossard, I like all of them. And then the front line's great as well. The only suggestion, as I said, is I'd play Kirkes over Milenkovic, but that's up to you. Thanks so much for the super chat as well, Anish. Hope you're doing well. Who do you support? No one in the Premier League, actually. I mean, My family from my dad's side is Spanish, so I am a Real Madrid fan. Can you please tell me who to bench? Mateta, Pedro, Rogers, Sarr. Probably bench Sarr. I only have one playable keeper in Henderson. I'm considering getting Becker, but I'm concerned about week 29 if Liverpool banks. Well, I mean, that comes back down to, if your concern is having one goalkeeper, then having two will just solve that question, right? Am I planning to sell Odegaard and Bruno eventually? I'll probably stick with one of them, but one of them will probably also leave for Mbumo soon. Start Gordon and Raul. I'd start Gordon quite easily. Start Ahmad or Jackson. I'd start Jackson still. Gordon or Mbumo. I would start Gordon quite easily. Kirk as it is. You're doing well. Good luck to you as well. Bench one. Paul Munoz Wood. Probably just bench Munoz and play Wood. Enzo to Murphy. I don't love Enzo to Murphy because I think the Newcastle fixtures have kind of dried up, right? So this is a really good fixture. After that, it's kind of mediocre. So I kind of like some of the other midfielders in the game anyways. But if you can only spend someone at that Murphy price range, then fine. If you want to make that move. I don't love it. I'd rather go Dango, actually. Hi, Fran. Should I get Gakpo from Mateta? I don't think that's a lovely move. If you have to, then go for it. But I think Mateta's perfectly fine. Like, this is such a good game for him. I don't know if I'd see this as a great opportunity. Why is Munoz ahead of Wood on your bench? I'm planning to make an Alisson move. The reason why I don't really want to make a Gakpo transfer is I don't want to spend that much money in the forward position in the first place. I'd probably be transferring Gakpo out in the future. I can keep Alisson and play him permanently. It's 2 free transfers for both anyways, and in the worst case where I don't have many free transfers to afford dealing with the Liverpool blank in Game 29, then I can just play Flecken in Game 29, whereas Gakpo I'd have to transfer out. Start Munoz or Timber? I'd probably start Timber still. It's Wolves away, which is just such a nice game. Haaland, Gordon out to Isak's Son. I think that makes sense, but obviously, you know, I guess your concern is about the Isak news, right? I still think that's not something you want to buy into. Son is a really nice move, though. What do you think about going Kluivert to Mbumo to free up points for Trent? So you're saying Mbumo to Kluivert? If you want to do that, I think that's okay, but clearly Mbumo is going to be one of the things. I mean, Dango will be the next Bournemouth craze. Yeah, I mean, Dango's already been my cheat sheet. I don't think there's anything shocking to me about Dango. He's definitely a good pick now. They just simply have too many injuries for him to be a bad pick. Raya to Alisson this week. I'd probably go this week, right? Because the price changes are probably going to force some sort of move for you in that direction. Should I go Sarr to Mbumo for a free? Why is it so hard to bench Gabriel? Because he's got a good fixture, right? And he's such a big set piece threat. I probably would do that for a free, yeah. Jordan, I think that makes sense. I mean, yes, of course, this is a great Sarr game, and probably Sarr, arguably, if he played 90 minutes, would be on par with Mbumo this week, but you know that you're making a transfer that you're betting in, that's going to be a really good one. So I think that's a solid move. You meant bring in Gordon or Mbumo this week? I'd probably bring in Mbumo because same kind of argument with Gordon's fixtures being slightly worse, whereas Mbumo, his fixtures just get better and better. Got any plans to tweak your defense? Defense. I mean, it could be an Everton transfer next week, or otherwise, no tweaks up until maybe Game 29. Am I based in the UK? Yes, I am. Kluivert or Semenyo? I'd still probably go Kluivert if I could right now, just because pens and all that kind of stuff. Iwobi to Rogers or just play Ahmad or Iwobi? I'd probably actually just go Iwobi to Rogers. But you have the option of playing both. I'd actually just probably play Iwobi. Start Ouattara versus NFO or NDI versus Brighton. Why did I say NFO? I'd probably start Ouattara. Hello, Fran. Would you start Sarr or Rogers? It is a close one, but I think, I'd still start Rogers. I think he's still got a better fixture. Semenyo to Wood, subs, I'd probably play Semenyo. At what time are we getting the last episode of The Agency tonight? I don't actually know, because I tend to just watch it the day after. Would you do Fleck into Alisson if Fabianski was your bench keeper? I would, yeah. Dunk or Robinson? I'd play Robinson, because there's probably a slight risk of a dunk cameo. We've seen dunk cameos before, so I think that's a real legitimate risk. Start Gakpo and Mbumo. Gakpo for sure. Fran, love your videos. What's better, Odegaard to Rice and keep Bruno, or Bruno to Ahmad and keep Odegaard? Can you not just suddenly go Odegaard to Mbumo somehow? I guess you're trying to free up cash, right? I don't think you really need to keep a player within Arsenal or you know, City or Arsenal or Man United per se. You can just go for a Bournemouth midfielder if you really want to downgrade one of the two. And if you want to downgrade one of the two, I'd probably downgrade Bruno this week, if I'm honest. Whereas next week, I'd probably downgrade Odegaard. So it really just comes down to when you make that decision. Start Robinson or Van Heck. I'd probably start Van Heck. Start Kirkes or Robinson. Probably Kirkes. Any early team news? Not really. We had a really, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a leak, right? Some people are suggesting that Isak might be ill for the game. He might be out, which I'm not really buying, to be quite honest. I would just say, you know, make sure your bench order is correct. But there is a slight rumor that Diaz could be benched for Darwin Nunez, and that was it. I haven't seen anything else too crazy. Am I making any transfers this week? Yeah, I'll probably go Alisson. I guess I could just pull my moves, right? I mean, you guys know what my move options are. Hey, Gautam, good luck with your wood move. I wish I could do the same, but I'm pulling a 3-5-2 structure and wood is your second striker. Would you start Hull over Konate? No, I'd start Konate over Hull, personally. When am I making transfers? Probably over the next 24 minutes. Don't do it, Fran. Don't go DCL. He's going to play 1 week for me, and that's it, right? Don't leave transfers to last minute. I won't do it last minute. I'll probably do it like 15 minutes ago. So probably in around, I don't know, let's say 10 minutes. We'll make our moves then. Benching Wood for Rodgers is crazy. Why is it crazy? Should I bring in Alisson? Oh, did I miss a super chat? I'm so sorry about that, Bounce Dark. Vidat, actually, your question, yeah, I did answer that one. Alps, sorry, you had a question. Start Sar or Semenyo, so apologies about that. And thank you so much for the first super chat, Alps. I would start Sar in this situation just because it's a better home game for me, like a better fixture, actually. Bombstark, your question was, please, could you take a look at your team? 189190. Yeah, I could have a look at it. So if you made 22 transfers, presumably you have, but you did roll last week, so you must have 2 free transfers, right? I'm guessing. I mean, that team is very, very similar to mine, I guess, structurally speaking. Obviously, Eze is the main difference. I mean, this week, interesting. You know, one thing I'd actually like to ask is, could you do something like, I guess you could do Raya to Alisson, like 1 free transfer, that's it, you're done. Right? I think that's actually a very strong move. I'd play Munoz easily, same with Gabriel and Trent. So yeah, I think Raya to Alisson's actually like a pretty solid move that you can consider. You do have Valdemarson, so that's not lovely, I guess, but I think that move is quite strong. And you could probably roll the other move as well, because you don't really need Everton players this week. No one else is like super pressing that I think you're missing in your team. You've already got a Bournemouth midfielder, so yeah. I mean, the alternative, I guess, is you do something like what Wood to. Yeah, you can't even really go straight Wood to Gakpo, can you? got 0.2 in the bank. So nah, I mean, I think you just make that move, right, Allison, and call it a day there, and then just roll for 24, reassess the decisions. Later down the line, I think probably the moves that you're going to make is really dependent on your chip strategy, right? So whether you keep like more Liverpool, Arsenal players, and who knows what the outcome of the Carabao Cup games are, but you're pretty well set in terms of the midfield. Like you don't need to sell Eze until close to the double anyways, or the blank rather. Castanha's still fit for now. You have Greaves. Maybe he becomes a Bournemouth defender, potentially, but yeah, strong team. Joseph, bench one, Rogers, Wood, JP. I would personally bench Wood, right? But I know a lot of people find that controversial. Once again, the kind of dilemma, I suppose, is going to be that question of if you go for Wood and you play Wood, you know that he's the higher EO player. So you want to play Wood maybe because you don't want to deal with the idea of playing against 85% ownership of Wood, right? And I get that. Personally, for me, I would just back the home games in this instance because they're quite good for both Rogers and JP. So I would just go for those two. But yeah, risk preference, I think that allows you to make a decision the other way around. Semenyo or Ahmad, Man United are so unpredictable. I mean, they are unpredictable, but I think they're also pretty bad. I would actually go Semenyo. You know, home game I think is nice as well to bank on. Pick two, bench Mbumo, Gakpo, Raul. I just bench Raul. You don't have Vardy, bro. Did I say that I have Vardy? That's Valdemarson, not Vardy. Start JP or Ahmad. I'd start João Pedro. Hello, Fran. I've been watching you since 2022. Thank you so much. What would you choose between JP and Rogers? I think it's a close 50-50. A couple of people have asked the same questions. I tend to think, yeah, I just back the better fixture with Rogers, but some people might also be married to an argument of, you know, penalties and things like that, which João Pedro has. DCL X-Men's this week, probably going to be, I mean, he's probably going to play the full 90, right? I can't see why he wouldn't. Maybe like 85 worst case. Bench one, Bruno, Wood, Pedro, Rogers. I'd probably bench Wood once again. When are you making your transfers? In a few minutes. Rank Gakpo, Rogers, Kulusevski, and Mbumo bench one. I would actually bench Mbumo or Rogers in that situation because I think Kulu just has a really good game. My thoughts on triple captain Salah. I think if you've got triple captain, it's the easy way to go there. Is the early team news dead in the water? I think Tony had some Man City leaks, but then also people don't really care about Man City leaks too much, I suppose. But other than that, we haven't had really any leaks, I would say. Any good leaks, at least, or any, like, confirmed authoritative leaks, I would say. I guess there's no update on Isak either in terms of, like, his illness kind of situation that people have talked about. I think that's a bit of BS, personally, but we'll have to find out, don't we? Could I bench João Pedro, Sar, Rogers? I'd probably bench Sar just about there. Thoughts on when you'll use the managership? Probably 31 or 36. I mean, it's not always going to be slot, right? But if you have a double gimme for Liverpool, yeah, it's quite easily slot, but because there's such a strong team. Munoz, higher expected points than Gabriel. I'm not sure about that. I'd play Gabriel over Munoz most cases. Should I downgrade Rogers to Dango now to free up cash for Mbumo in place of Sar? Or, I mean, I still think you can wait because I still think Rogers has a better game than Dango on paper. So why not just wait for next week if you want to do that? You probably aren't going to be priced out next week, and Rogers, who knows? I mean, he could price rise again, right? No questions. TC Game Week 2 raise. Let's stay green. Thank you, Otto. Hope you're doing well. All the best to you, and good luck for you this game week as well. Kirkes or Munoz? If you're using it as a transfer, I'd probably go Kirkes still. But if you're talking about just playing, I'd play Munoz. Why don't you bench Who's for that bench? I don't think it's a very good bench. And I'm not going to have Wood on the bench, right? So it's just going to be a worse team. Like, Calvert-Lewin is worse than Wood this week. That's something I can definitely agree on. Sell Chris Wood for Cody Gakpo. I think that's actually a solid move. If you can do it for one free transfer, I probably would consider it. Like, if I had one free transfer and I could go Chris Wood to Gakpo, I'd probably do it. Why would you start Konate over Hull? Hull plays so, and Konate against IPS, who are a better attacking team. I'm not sure if that's true. Also, the biggest difference there is home and away as well, right? And Liverpool are better defense than Newcastle. So, once again, not really comparable on both fronts. Southampton actually have higher XG than Ipswich this season, if I remember. So, yeah, I think not entirely true. Who should I play? Amad or Munoz? I'd probably play Amad in most cases. I'd still play my attackers, but if you want to play Munoz, I wouldn't begrudge that. Hi, Fran, please help. You're just spamming too much, my friend. I'm sorry. Would you start DCL Munoz? I'd bench DCL. Would you start DCL Orlanga? I'd probably start DCL. Sar. Who should I play? Amad or Munoz? I'd still play Amad. Amad or Wood? I'd play Wood. Okay, I think it's actually time to make my moves, unfortunately. Well. We get to make some moves, finally. I'm going to miss Wood. He's done a good job for me. And I'm going to miss another price rise from Wood. Sad times. The poll was actually, I think, bang on 50-50, wasn't it? Actually, no, it was more people leading Roll and then 49% Allison DCL in. I mean, I'd be benching Wood anyway, so I'm not going to feel hurt. The only situation where I'd feel hurt is if suddenly Isak was on the bench and then Wood scored and he would be first bench for me in that situation. I definitely won't be DCL TCing. It feels so painful. I don't know about this one. Might just have to do it. I'm gonna sit on it because it's quite a big transfer for my team. Wood will score. I don't necessarily believe that. It's Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, could be worse. Could be for a hit. True. Mitoma for Mbumo. I think that makes sense. What's the best defender to buy now? No Liverpool or Everton. Probably a Nottingham Forest defender is not too bad. Robinson or Munoz? I'd still play Munoz. Don't do it. I mean, it's not even that big of a move. Like, I'm benching Wood anyways. Like, the move is basically just me going for Allison, right? Just don't do it. Mr. Super Chat. Sorry, let me have a look at my Super Chats. Andy. Sorry about that, Andy. Start one. Ahmad Jal. I would just bench Ahmad personally. I think Murphy's got a great game. Timber has a great game as well. I think Murphy starts anyway, so that's like Southampton away. Like, I'd take Southampton away over Fulham away any day. So yeah, I'd probably go there. Oh, painful list. I don't know. Is there a world where I go Gakpo? I don't think so. Like, I'd have to sell one of, I guess it could be some sort of Bruno out move. Gakpo stinky. Saliba news. What's the Saliba news? I think Ipswich will park the bus. So captain. Yeah, but doesn't every relegation team park the bus? I don't think that's really stopped them from being bad at defense, though, if we want to put it that way. The only thing I'm holding out for is if we get some last minute Isak news. If we get some last minute Isak news, I'd probably make a different move. But I think for now, I'm pretty set into this move. NDI or DCL? I'd probably still go DCL. But NDI obviously is playing better minutes. Press it. All right, press it. Ooh. 50% of people with Wood and Gap will destroy me this weekend. I mean, it's going to be more than 50%, right? Is it true Isak is a late fitness test? That's kind of why I'm holding out. Because if Isak is out, maybe I just sell Isak. But that also sounds a little bit ludicrous. Would you start DCL or Langa? I'd start DCL. Yeah, I'm kind of holding out for Isak news. I'm not thinking about this move. I'm just thinking about what happens if Isak is out. Whew. Okay, we've made the move. We have made the move. All right, I'm going to refresh the page. I'll look at the super chats in a moment. Sorry, I've just been stressing about the move a little bit. Done. Okay, let's see. Live chat. Super chat, actually. Yogesh says bench one, Joe Pedro, Wood, Palmer, Gabby, Hall. I'd probably bench Hall in that circumstance, to be honest. Wood is sold. End of an era. End of an era. Site's bugging. Looks fine to me. That move hurt. Kind of hurt to do. You can't believe I just did that. The website's down. Come on, guys, be serious. The website's working perfectly fine. Okay, well, the moves were made, and that's that. I wouldn't actually start DCL because it's still Brighton away, which is actually like a pretty poor game. And Munoz has a really good game, so yeah. A lot of stuff from Sarah and chat, but I can't repeat that for content. You sold Wood for a benched Calvin. Yep, your eyes don't deceive you. Lewis to burn or just play Castagna this week? I would just go and play Castagna this week. Should I start Wisa or Foden? I'd start Foden for sure. Start Iwobi or Ahmad. I'd probably start Iwobi in that situation. How long did I have Wood for? I had him for the Wolves game, the Liverpool game, and the Southampton game, and that's it. But I did get quite a few price rises. My God, couldn't get that out of my mouth. Who's a must-have this upcoming game? I mean, unfortunately, the must-haves are I'd say triple Liverpool generally, but other than that, nothing too exceptional. I'd play Palmer over Ahmad for sure. I mean, Palmer has plenty of chances of scoring himself, right? Penalties, etc., all that kind of stuff. I'm cooking or cooked. I mean, I would have been cooked either way, right? Because I was going to bench Wood, so it's fine. I'll take it on the chin. I benched Wood versus Liverpool, and that worked out really well for me. Start Mateta Rogers. Hey mate, when someone gets 6 price rises under your management, that is an error, is it not? Sorry, but the question was start Mateta Rogers. I'd start Mateta. Did you need to sell Wood to enable the Allison move? Yes, I did. Any LFC team news? Not that I can really see myself. Start Wood or Semenyo? I'd start Wood. Start Munoz or Aina? I'd start Munoz quite easily. With Semenyo on the bench, Wood starting. Interesting. So you're kind of hedging over a Nottingham Forest result. I mean, if you want to do that, then you could still play Aina, but it's not like Munoz affects that impact or impacts that result, right? So I'd just play Munoz. Am I planning on moving towards Bournemouth assets soon? Absolutely. Probably around gaming 25/26. Munoz on the bench does not look right. Yeah, but neither would Hull versus Southampton away, right? So I've kind of already made my bet on that type of move. Yeah. I do be like that sometimes. Well, well, well. We've made our move. Maybe Isak is sick, you know, and maybe I just get Munoz first bench anyways. Like, why not? That would be a nice life to live. Yogesh, yeah, sorry, I answered your question. Hamad, thank you so much for the super chat. Bench 1, JP, Mbumo, Rogers, Sar. I'd probably just bench Sar, to be honest, because, you know, obviously he's coming off that sort of mild injury / knock. He does have a good game, but so do the other players, and they've got penalties at least to cover slightly poor fixtures like Mbumo. Chisel Planets, thank you so much for gifting 5 FPL Fran memberships. Really appreciate the support constantly on the channel and the moderation as well. Who got them? So Yogesh, Black Hole, Bobby Mo, Robert T, Mo, and Joshua. Congrats. Please thank Chisel Planet as well. Current team value. My team value is 105.7. If that helps. Not that I think it really matters. Is there any leaks? Unfortunately, no. I mean, we're running close to the deadline. Doesn't seem like there's any leaks at all. How much do I have in the bank? I believe I have 0.2 after that. Just quickly composing the old tweet as usual. There's three minutes left until the deadline, so do make your moves. I can continue to look for leaks, but I don't think we actually have any leaks, unfortunately, today. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but also, I mean, I guess leaks kind of ruin the game towards an extent, so I don't really mind. Yeah. Alrighty, so you predict Salah benching illness. Okay, I guess I'll need Calvert-Lewin at the end of the day. So you're telling me that I won't have a captaincy? Is that what you're saying? No, Salah's playing at least, please. Questions from the members in the chat. Bench Kirk as a Robinson. I'd probably bench Robinson. Start Colwell or Mikolenko. I'd probably play Mikolenko. Isak Vice, is that a risk? Not really, I think, because Salah's so nailed to play, and I don't even believe the Isak rumors. I think they're kind of fake. Rogers, Martinelli, which one? I'd play Martinelli. Hand to my head, like, gun to my head, I think Martinelli starts, and if he starts, I think he's a better pick than Rogers, right? Start Colwell or Mikolenko. Mikolenko in that case. I still think the City defense is, like, City offense is really good. Mo, your message was retracted. Bench 1, Sar, Rogers, JP, Wood. I'd bench Sar. Salas, thank you so much for the super chat. Good luck to you this game week. Head to my gun. Verbruggen, Hall, Trent, Robinson, Kulusevski, Mbumo, Palmer, Gakpo, Mateta, Isak, subs, sells, Almadine. I think the subs make sense as well. Good luck to the team. I do quite like Verbruggen. Robbo. Start 2 of sells, Verbruggen. I'd start Verbruggen and I'd start Robinson as well. Yeah, I think that's fine. 1 minute left, and by 1 minute I mean 45 seconds. So please get onto the moves. Start Van Hecke or Hall. I'd still back Hall in that case, but if you want to go Van Hecke, go for it because he does have a better game. Anwar, I mean, you already spoke about the Ahmad thing. I just think that Palmer's route towards points isn't just Jackson scoring, right? So, yeah, Palmer is still Palmer. He's still versus a really poor City defense compared to Fulham. So, ultimately, that's kind of where I'm at. Thank you guys so much for the support. How should I arrange bench DCL Mikolenko? I think DCL first bench is fine. DCL Castagna Mikolenko I think is fine. You did DCL. Why not Pickford keeper and Gakpo striker? Can't afford that. Basically, is the simple answer. Nor do I really like Pickford goalkeeper either. And it's done. AM Chep is 31-36. Haven't decided yet. We'll probably make a decision around Game Week 28. We will talk about that in a chip strategy video coming soon. Unfortunately, the turnaround has been quite insane, so I haven't really been able to react too much to it. But hope you guys are all well. Hope you guys enjoy the weekend. I'm gonna log off now soon. Gonna enjoy watching. I think the phone's gonna have one game. My two monitors are gonna have 2 games, but there's 5 games of football, right? So I'm not sure I'm gonna manage. I think I'll probably watch Liverpool since I'm like triple invested into them now. I'll skip the Bournemouth game because unfortunately all that game can do is make me feel sad about myself. And the same with, I guess I could watch João Pedro. Newcastle, I just don't really care about Newcastle or Southampton because I think I'm down Newcastle players first most. So I'll probably be watching Arsenal, Liverpool, and Brighton is probably what I'm doing. Yeah, that's a good shout, Sarah. You're right. That's not an interesting game. The Brighton game, you mean? Bournemouth Nottingham Forest is the least interesting for me from an FPL perspective. But I'll still, I'm sure I catch bits of it. I would actually like Bournemouth to absolutely smash Nottingham Forest because actually that would be nice. Hope you're doing well. To you as well, Doctor. Take care, my friend. Bobby, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for being in the stream. No, it's not savage. Come on. Like, I just don't own any Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest players, right? So I'm not invested into that game. But yeah, I actually think it would be nice to see Bournemouth actually get a really good result there because they're playing really well. And I think, I wouldn't say Nottingham Forest is overhyped, but I think it would be nice if the idea of selling Wood, kind of panned out as opposed to me benching Wood 2 weeks ago versus Liverpool. Didn't pan out very well. So all the best to you guys. Take care. Enjoy your weekends. Enjoy the football. And I'll see you guys soon.